All right. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace. Peace, peace. Oops, my fault. Let me say what's up to everybody. Peace. 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 Yeah, man. I've been traveling, man. Got a little under the weather. Shoot, I went and put a little hours in at my job, man. I left. I left that bad boy at 2 o'clock, man. No, I left about 1. Came home. I was asleep all day. I got up today, I think about 2 hours ago. I just been laying back, man. But I'm good. Got my moringa tea and all that good stuff. So I'm good, man. So let's get this teacher started real fast. Everybody good? But I want to let everybody know that all our lessons, I'm gonna tomorrow, I'm gonna upload all the Quranic study teachings, and I'm gonna email it to everyone because I don't want nobody to miss the teachings. Like I said, I was out of it, but I wanted to give everybody Sunday ministry. And Monday, I'm gonna pre-record our civics, history, and law, and I'll be emailing that to everybody so you can watch it. What'd you say? What'd you say? The geoengineer is real right now. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I got all. Hey, I don't play. I make my concoction. Oh, what was that? I got my I got my moringa tea, my sarsaparilla. I make my concoctions. I got my ginger. I got my turmeric. Got my spirulina. I got my ginger. I got my mint leaves. Oh, I told you I'm a real scientist. So when I be saying things, I just don't be making it up. I make my own concoctions. Serious business with my own herbs. But yep, I get that moringa tea from my Tibetan. It's like a Tibetan store out here. You can get your herbs, pick them out, make your own tea. Yep. I'm gonna make it. I got my new book coming out, man. I told you I got a lot of stuff coming, man. And I totally forgot. My empress was like, your workout book. And I totally forgot it. So I'm gonna add some stuff in my workout book. A lot of the herbs and stuff I use for cleansing. Like one dude asked me, what you take? He was like, you be taking I think he said Mega Man vitamins. I said, I don't take no vitamins when I work out. He said, how you ripped? And I'm like, man, because it's what I eat and I make my own. I make my own smoothies. Excuse me. So let's get started. Let me give our Moorish American prayer. So like I said, everybody, all students, I'll PDF to you. If you didn't get your Unto the Eye grant, I will send that to you because that book is out of print. And our other civic book, where it go? Let me see. I'm sorry about this, man. And our other book, I email this to everyone. Once we get all started. But students, you're not gonna miss any teaching, so you don't have to worry about that. Everything will be emailed to you. So let's do our Moorish American prayer, and then I'll do my benediction, and then we'll get it all started, man. Because we always have to teach our ministry and understand from the right perspective. But we face the East. That's what they want to say, but we know we are the East. I'll teach that later. You have your 5 on your left, 2 on your right. You want your heels at 40. You want your heels at that 45-degree angle, Moors, right? Allah, the Father of the universe. No, repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom alaikum. Peace be with you. Whatever name you give it praise, man, do so. But let's give our benediction, Moors. May the benison of Allah be upon thee and thy always, as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon all our brothers and sisters, and we shall all do our best to shun all evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that ye might nourish the souls of all men, women, and children, Moors. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. We knowest that thou needed not pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, Moors, the key to salvation already rests within thy own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine, Moors. So may Allah, may Buddha, may Confucius, may Yahweh, may it preserve you, may it lengthen you, and may it give you everlasting peace. So, Moors, in these times that's going on today, Moors, this is what I really want to be clear on. And when I tell my brothers and sisters that we have to be correct on everything, I don't really think Moors understand the science of Moors science and the synchronicity of this science. I really think Moors, I don't know, because all this, how can I say it, man? When Moors diss things that they don't have any understanding. And when I ask Moors, what is our Moors Quran? What is our Moors Quran based off? What is our Moors Quran telling us? Matter of fact, what is our Moors Quran constructed off of? And if you knew what our Moors Quran was constructed off of, you wouldn't be dissing no Bible. You wouldn't be dissing no holy books. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. And that's why when it comes to teaching, we must understand we are a holy people. And like I tell you, it's certain people in certain times that was only able to take things a certain way. We are in the flesh today. So we correct teachers. We compare things. And this is what I be trying to teach us, to master yourself and deal with the teachings and let all that man-made stuff go. When I ask Moors, do you really know what Moors science is all about? Do you know what all holy books are all about? When I talk about connotation and denotating, every holy book is about you and me. It's just people took the teachings and connotated it in a perspective that was for their right. Just like when I show you all the slave Bibles, all that stuff. I say, I hear that, but then I want to show you the light of the teachings. And that's what they tried to bury in a shallow grave. So when I talk about Moors science, higher, adapt, wisdom, when I be saying ayah, asha, ayah, in Moors science, we talk about arm, leg, arm, head, I, self, law, and master. When I told y'all my makeup is in metaphysics. I told y'all I've been in this movement for a long time. My mother and father have their doctoral in divinity. And so we studied metaphysics. We taught classes. We traveled all over teaching IDMR. And these teachings connect man and God. These teachings connect God and man as one. These teachings connect, how can I say it? The analogy, the parable, and the symbology, and it teaches it to you. So we can get a clear understanding of how these teachings synchronize and how these teachings synchronize man and God, or man and Allah. And everything else is law. So that's what we must understand. When you see any more dissing any holy books, you should run away from that. Because to have our complete 5/5, we must have our nationality and our spirituality, or our religion per se, Moors. So I want us to be clear on that. I want us to be clear on that. I told y'all, remember I was talking about the DMT? I just want to show y'all some books before I get into the teachings. This is the spirit molecule. This is some stuff we're going to teach as I start teaching and as we go along and as we connect ourselves with our higher consciousness. When I show you how to activate certain things, when we do things collectively. This is the spirit molecule that's already there in our brain. And a lot of Europeans and a lot of different people, what they do is take holistic drugs. Here go the book right here, Ma. Remember I tell you the DMT? Yeah, the spirit molecule. And so these are things that we're going to teach on as we go on, students. I think one of my members, he was telling me this dude was trying to, no, I'm on here now. He was telling me he was Metatron and something, trying to get him to do something. And I'm like, more. And that's why I tell everyone, ask. If you're a student and a member, you have all the rights to ask me something because we're students. This class, you have all the rights to ask your teacher something. So this is the healing book, the Metatron. And we'll talk about that later. Y'all making a lot of noise. But the Metatron, remember I told you the Metatron? This is my healing book. And I'm going to teach that. Remember that when I told y'all what we did with those bowls, those singing bowls? And we get into our and we get into meditating before we work out? Your whole body's going to transform. So I want you to be clear on things, man, when people be trying to run game on you. Y'all good? Are y'all good?
We good.
But that's right, yeah. Look, James cracking up. You talk about that Metatron, that dude hustling that goofy stuff. You know what I'm talking about, James. I told y'all, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. We should want to be a part of this. But this is the healing book. And I told y'all, you're going to be able to order every book from me for your library can be full at the end of the year. I told you, I'm going to teach you systematically. You're going to be educated systematically. So you won't confuse anything. You're going to be educated systematically. All students, I promise you that. Or what you say, Noble, or Cash App, $KG Bay, if anybody want to send donations in. Because if you was here once the physical temple come and you just a visitor, I hope Allah put it on your heart to give a donation as you coming and giving and listen to the teachings. We'll go to the movie, we'll go to a club and be like, oh, that's whack. We'll go to these whack bars and club hop. So come on, man, let's do what's right. But another bonus book I'm going to get to Morris as class go on is the Discover Key to a lot of our Morris questionnaires. When I talk about understanding. And understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. That's what I want you to understand. So I'm going to always give some key Morris science before I jump into this teaching today. This ministry, so you can be correct. I'm about to synchronize some things and I'm going to illuminate some text to you. I'm going to show you that the Asiatic man is the father of civilization. Proven by the Bible. That's right. Proven by the Bible. I did it before. I'm going to do it again. One of my empresses was like, Noble, would you please do that again for Sun Dey Ministry? I said, absolutely. Because I correct teachings. And it's just what it is. It's just Islam, Noble. Islam for the donation. But understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. And when I say man, Empress, I'm not just saying man, one man too. So don't get it twisted. And the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah. And he appointed to everyone his portion. He appointed to everyone his portion. You and me, everybody with a sound mind and body. If we say we want to learn and we want to be a part of something, well, he gave you your portion to be a part of something. In what measure seek good unto himself or herself. And within the law of learning, accept only that which appeals to your heart as truth, and let the rest pass you by. For the time being, for each comes his own, and none can gain his own until he or she is prepared for what? That wisdom and that science. Remember I tell you something, Empress, remember I was giving an analogy and I said sometimes something given to you too early can hurt you? Yeah. Yes. And so I was using the analogy of a straight razor. I can use a straight razor because I know what I'm doing with it, right? But you won't give a straight razor to a 5-year-old, would you? No. He might cut his damn head off, right? You understand what I'm saying, y'all? So understand that. You got to be prepared for this wisdom. You must, one, remove your ego. You must, one, remove all that stuff you thought you knew. from no proof, going around talking about what somebody said. It's like every morning come on here, we're like, well, I heard, I thought. I said, man, I don't care what you heard. I don't care what you thought. I don't care what your mama told you. I don't care what your daddy told you. All I care is the truth, and the truth have no sides. And if you want to be on some religious, dogma, connotated, arbitrary perspective of things, I'm not for you. That's why I tell Moors that the great meeting is on. And when you enter a temple, this is a temple. When I told y'all, we're connecting worldwide. We're connecting. When you enter your temple, you must leave all your earth cares and troubles outside. All that stuff, let it go. Your mind must be with spiritual thoughts and ideas. This is what I be telling more is when your whole system is messed up. Because you coming into something spiritual all in the physical. So your pH balance is all out of whack. How the hell can you come in something spiritual with a physical mind state? Your pH balance is all off whack. Islam Noble, did your books come? If your books didn't come, I'm just gonna send you another set, and then if they come, send me the other one back. Cause I don't want you to be waiting too long. But the mind of the student should be in a passive state rather than an active state. Pure thoughts by love of truth and of humanity. The student should not desire anything in particular, but unite in being pleased to receive that which is best for all. A meeting may produce most important results, not only for those who take part in it, but also for their unconscious neighbors, the ones that you say you love. The ones that you say you love. You should share these teachings. That's sad. Nobody. I'm gonna send you another set out, and like I said, if the other set get to you, send me the other set back. Because I read the address out, I got the invoice, everything is right, and you're the only one that didn't get yours. So we'll get you another set out, and I got the last 4 members. Y'all books came the other day, so I'll be shipping those out. But in order that it may do this, the member must understand the hidden side of the meeting. The meeting, we talk about the meeting of the mind. Everything what I say, man, if I'm not saying this is exoteric, everything I'm talking about is esoteric. And I'm going to teach that in our science degrees of our masonry. But in order that it may do this, the member must understand the hidden side of the meeting and must work with a view to produce the highest possible effects. See, many members and students, they overlook this most important part of our work and have in consequence quite an unworthy idea of what a temple is all about. Remember, temple. See, this is what I be telling Moors. The building ain't the temple. The building is just a dang old building. We are the temple. Without us there, it ain't nothing but an empty place. We are the temple. And we can go anywhere. We can be in a clubhouse. It's the temple. We can be in your backyard with a tent. It's the temple. Why? Because the body is there. We are the body. Are y'all understanding that? Are y'all overstanding that? Whatever catchphrase people like to use all day. We are the temple. And I think we confuse of what the temple what a really temple manifestation is. You are the temple. We are the temple. What do you think Islam is all about in more science? This is American Islam. I, self, law, and master. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. This ain't no outside of ourself religious or religion. And we must be clear on these teachings. That's why I teach the triple role of the adapt chamber. I understand the science of all the religious rites. We must understand that. That's why I'm going to teach that in the biblical scriptures. You're going to find yourself. But there are at times that a member may feel that some speakings are often dull. And so he or she does not allow themselves to be a part of the teachings. But you must understand, this is not entertainment. And a lot of Negro, blacks, and color want to be entertained. Ooh, what he said. Ooh, look what he did. but no teaching. That's church. Come on, y'all. Ooh, the preacher was preaching. What he was talking about? I don't know. No disrespect to no one, but I like to use analogies. I done been through the fire, man, so I'm speaking from a place of knowing. I ain't sitting here just talking about I've been in the fire. I'm a spiritual man. I fight this spiritual world in this physical world in the spiritual. I'm a spiritual being. I love the scriptures. I teach the text. We must. All this stuff is an illusion. If you're not spiritual, then that's why you're losing. Because you don't know how to beat a person. A person can be physical strength all day long. But if I got the physical strength and the spiritual strength, I'm going to outthink you. I don't even have to use my strength. You're going to exhume all your energy physically. I'm not even going to exhume energy because I'm just going to outthink you. And you're going to be thinking your muscles going to beat me. I'm going to be sitting back while you fighting. I'm going to be sitting back buffing my shoes. You understand what I'm saying? We fight this physical world in the spiritual. Man, come on, man. Dad, what's that text in Luke where they say we open up the scriptures?
24. Luke 24 is 7. No, it's 24:7.
Where open up the what? If y'all got it, it's Luke. Where you say he opened up their understanding.
The 24th chapter of Luke. I don't know the exact verse.
When he opened up their understanding, where's my Haile Selassie book? Where he opened up their understanding. Somebody find that scripture for me.
It's in the 24th chapter.
It's in Luke.
You want something? It's in the 24th chapter.
See, we're going to teach all this text, man. Let you know this all us. All these teachings teach about know thyself. Right? It says, not the keeper in the glass. Don't worry about it, babe. Dad know what book I'm talking about, don't you?
Yep.
You see it, don't you?
I don't know, but I know you got it out here.
It should be right there. I know it's Haile Selassie book.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll come to me. Now, it's the old one. Remember that? Not the keeper in the gospel, but the other one.
I remember the old one. I don't see it.
It's somewhere. But I'll get to it, y'all.
If I have my Bible, I can get it to you real quick.
I'll get to it. But our attitude is a form of human radiation, which gives other people a perception and understanding of who you are, what you are, and where we're going. And it's a manner of feeling, acting, and thinking that shows your disposition, your opinion, and your personality, right? This instrument of communication is a moment-to-moment projection of your thoughts and feelings unto the world. Based on whatever you send out, the world responds to you. Our attitude is a powerful tool which can be used effectively to attract desired people. When I talk about the 7 Kemetic principles, I'm going to correct all our teachings. Get Hermetic out your mind. No science came from the West. It's all Kemetic science. Even though, yes, we know the Hermetic, but it's come from the Kemetic because it's Kemetic science. The teachings are right, but if we're going to deal with the root and where it comes from Egypt, and it's Kemetic science. But you can attract the desired people when I talk about the law of attraction. Things and circumstances into your life experience. How are you going to say you winning and you can't attract nothing to you? You're not winning if you're not attracting nothing to you. How you say you want a good Moorish man or a good Moorish woman and you ain't attracting her? Who you around? What you vibrating? So the 2 primary components of attitude are what, Moors? Do anybody know the 2 components of attitude? Anybody know it? The 2 components of attitude? Projection and perception. So our self-image is communicated or projected to others through our attitude. Right? When we go places and be like, "Mo, he's pleasant to be around." Yes, because that aura, this communication projected by you, by me, is then perceived by the ones that we're around. And then they respond to us how? Accordingly. So if your desire other people to be friendly, kind, and generous towards you, then you must project just those qualities in your attitude towards them. You see how I pronounce that all eloquently? Attitude.
Yes.
Did that sound all right, Ma?
Yes. That's perfect.
But to use your attitude most effectively, Moors, you must recognize these two components and strive to make the projection and perception of your self-image one and the same. That's why our Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught. That's why I teach. Object of man's and woman's life, according to Islam, it is the complete enfoldment. And Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. It teaches that everyone has within himself or herself the seed of perfection or perfect development. And it rests solely within ourselves to make or even try to manifest our fortune. And when I say fortune, it's just not physical money. Believe that. That's why we must teach science. Teach man science, and his life shall be useful. Nevertheless, Moors, the attainment of virtue, he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of what? Our life. That's why you must read carefully when I teach these lessons. You must read carefully and understand the doctrine of our Moorish holy temple of science. And it contains our hopes, aims, rules, and articles of religion. Religion. The highest heights are gained by those who reach the greatest depths, and you shall reach the greatest depths. The guide then led the way. I told y'all, a log can point all day. A broken clock is right twice a day. A leader leads. A leader leads. And I lay my life on the line. That's what this is about. For what we believe in, that's what this is all about. That's why we say the great meeting is on. I am the question and the answer. When you let people tell you this, well, Bay, I'm a Bay and the L. I'm the question and the answer. The judge and the ruler. Great is the largest importance. The meeting is to come together for a specific purpose, Moors. We coming together for a purpose, right? On is used as a function word. On, when we talk about the great meeting. In that word or in that phrase or in that sentence or in that statement, the word on is used as a function word, indicate a time frame during which something takes place. Star, the most powerful of all graphic symbols, geometric symbol of harmony, health, and mystic powers. It is also the symbol of sovereignty, divinity, guidance, and guardianship. See, y'all don't know that. When I talk about the signs and symbols, you don't know what more. A lot of people just be wearing signs and symbols and don't know. That's why I say, man, everything means something. The crescent moon, the divine authority, increase, resurrection, and with a star, paradise. The star in the crescent, we must be a star inside the crescent. It doesn't waver from the spot. It is always fixed in steady faith. Therefore, we must have such steady faith in Allah. The hand press, a symbol union, which signifies a certain equality of status, the unity of one thought, one aim, and one destiny, Moors. Salvation, the life process of freedom of the soul through the Moorish process of education, of human development, of the will to become free of the chains of the body. That's why I say the great meaning is on, Moors. And Allah is the proper name of the divine being, while he is mentioned by a number of other names, every one of which refers to one of his attributes. You research what an attribute is. Do you know what an attribute is? Allah comprising all the attributes, by which he is known or she is known. Because Allah is a manifestation. Allah is not a contradiction of El Elil, the God. It has never been applied to any being except the only God, Moors. And as a proper name, it cannot be translated into any language, nor is equivalent of it met with any other language, Moors. So when we say Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, and Muslim, M-U-S-L-E-M. So the Muslim and Muslims speak of the supreme being as Allah, and the word God in the English language is not a substitute for Allah. It's not. So we must know that. In our Moorish Quran, chapter 1, so Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul. Father, one who creates or originates something. Also the first person of the Trinity, the uni, the UNI, which means single one. The verse are words in a song that can produce harmony. So universe, all existing things. Researching your Webster's Dictionary in the 1913 Webster's Dictionary. See, I'm going to teach us, man. There is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 35, verse 1, right? So I don't want to get all into deep of that, but I want to correct some stuff. But I'm going to send everybody one of these, our Discover the Key to the Moorish Questionnaire. Everybody's going to get one of these too, as we get to going. So I want us to be correct, because part 2, I'm going to talk about this here, connecting man to Allah. And then I'm going to connect some stuff when I'm going to show you that, the Moorish, the Quran and the Bible synchronize. You just don't know language. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying those that be trying to get us caught up in games because they want us to be part of their religious dogma. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for no religious dogma. We know the science, but we ain't under no religious dogma. You got to be crazy. This science. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things. So, the Bible gives the first and only true account of origin of mankind. It's the only book containing an accurate record of the progress of man towards civilization. Follow the context where I'm going. Thanks for the donation, Moore. And this indispensable reference to all searches after the real facts of the birth of humanity and its progress toward the civilization of today. Beginning with the so-called creation, it is authentic record of so-called man. Watch where I go. And the Moorish man, or the black man per se, has been misrepresented by prejudiced historians and lecturers. And I'm only saying this because I had to challenge academia when I got my degree from Grand Canyon University. I got my dual master's degree in first century religion and history. And I had to stand in the belly of the beast. I'm telling you. And I still graduated with honors. They didn't like my candor, but I prove it through scholarly research. Things that a person can't go, they can't refute it. They might have thought I wasn't there with that wisdom because they think we don't know nothing. But I stayed in the library, especially the doctoral library. In the biblical scriptures, it's quoted that Ham, the so-called father of the black man, was cursed by his father Noah. So in regard to the incident, let's look at the Bible record for it. Because Moors be getting amnesia and Christians be getting amnesia. No disrespect, but I want to correct these teachings. What, Empress? And anyone not totally blind with prejudice will be convinced by reading the book of Genesis. Write this down. The 9th chapter from the 20th to the 27th verse inclusive, that Noah did not. For he could not curse Ham, although he did in an intoxicating fit, like a lot of Negroes do. They, forget you, I don't like you. That ain't nothing. You pronounce a curse on Canaan, the son of Ham. But you got to remember that Canaan was not never inconvenienced by the curse of Noah. And then this was Moors. Then Moors, you will say, more, we Canaanites, we this. And then I'm like, well, if you Canaanite, this is Bible. And Noah Ali never dissed the Bible. Never. Only people diss the Bible is Negroes that do not know science. If you diss in the scripture, you're not practicing more science. You can't. Yep, Luke 24 and 27. Luke 24 and 27. What he says, open up their understanding. Yep. Somebody give me Luke 24, 27. Give me Luke 24. I'm trying to open up that understanding.
Yes, indeed. Just for sure.
You know? Luke 24, 27. Luke 24, 27. But Canaan was never inconvenienced by no curse of Ham or Noah, because he was the father of 7 prosperous nations. Foremost amongst them were the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, and the Sidonians. Don't we talk about our science? Phoenicium. I'm telling you, you got to get all that hate out you, man, and get with true teachings. Talk about some Bible, the white man, some this, all that westernized pseudo teachings you've been taught by your family, your preacher, and some Moors that don't study. The Sidonians sprang from Sidon, who was the first son of Canaan, according to Genesis, the 10th chapter, in the 15th verse. I hope you're writing this down. These same Sidonians are the men descended from black men, whom Solomon ordered Hiram of Tyre to engage to do the skill hewing and designing of the timber work of Solomon's temple. If we're going to tell a story, Solomon declared that these Sidonians were black men, and they were the only men possessed with anywhere near sufficient skill to take charge of the successful completing the artistic timber work of his Solomon's temple. He just called it the Solomon's temple. So if we're going to tell a story, if we're going to tell a biblical story, the biblical story is telling you that these were Asiatic men doing this. So if you don't want to believe it or not, I don't give a damn about nobody believing it. I'm just telling you the story. Don't let nobody tell you that you some damn slave. 1 Kings, the 5th chapter, the 6th verse, speaks very plainly of this fact. Solomon knew that the black race was a superior and not an inferior race. Why? Because he married Pharaoh's daughter. 1 Kings 3rd chapter, 1st verse, 7th chapter, 8th verse, and also the 9th chapter and the 16th verse. Also, Solomon's wife might have been as dark skinned or even as black as he was, if we're going to tell a story. For history shows that Egypt had 2 full-blooded Ethiopian pharaohs just before and during the reign of Solomon, according to Herodotus, according to their pen. And the names of these 2 Ethiopians were Sabaco, S-A-B-A-C-O, or Sibikos, S-E-B-I-C-H-O-S, and Setos, S-E-T-H-O-S. So Solomon surely got an Ethiopian or a Negro or a black woman or more woman for a wife, and naturally increased the proportion of Negro blood in the veins of the future king of the Jews. Are y'all following me? When I told y'all the real Jew is the Igbo and the Igbo genetically, y'all ain't following me. That book I posted the other day about the Prince Among Slaves, he was one of them. The book I showed y'all yesterday, The Prince Among Slaves, he was one of the Igbos and the Ebos. Prince Among Slaves. I'm telling you, this is a synchronicity. You letting people separate us. And then when you get with them religious Israelite brothers, I love all my brothers, but that's not your nationality. That's why when you look at the process of the immediate descendants of Ham, we learned that a curse laid upon one by a mortal of that day was a foolish and ineffective, as it is today. Ain't nobody finna lay no curse on you. I'm gonna lay a curse on you. Man, get out of here. So, lay a curse on me, fool. Think about this stuff, man. And don't play with yourself. It's foolish. Black skin and woolly hair is a disgrace. It's foolish. And as according to the Bible, no foundation. And speaking of black skin, the greatest brain work and wisdom ever given to this world was given by a so-called black skin or a Berber or at least in whose veins is the greatest portion of blood, was Ethiopian or Negro blood. Come on, man. As to this assertion of King Solomon, look at the Songs of Solomon, the 1st chapter, the 6th verse. Solomon's dark skin should cause no surprise because his mother, Hittite, was also the widow of Uriah. See 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter, the 9th and the 10th verse. So if we're going to break down these scriptures, I'll break the scriptures all the way down. Come on. Was also the widow of Uriah. I gave you that. The Hittites are the descendants of Heth, and Heth was the second son of Canaan. Y'all see how easy this is? So what you reading? So what scriptures you reading? You ain't reading those scriptures. You doing the same thing what you do. You talk about them Christians. You let somebody give you something and they connotated you because you lying on the scriptures. You ain't reading this. You can't be. I'm giving scriptures and you lying. I'm talking about this ain't about you. Who it's about? I'll wait. The Hittites are the descendants of Heth, and Heth was the second son of Canaan. That's in Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th verse. As to the woolly hair, which is Yahshua, because the never with a J in the Hebrew dialect, the blessed Savior of mankind will have his head covered with woolly hair when he comes to judge the world. If Daniel's prophecy is right, Daniel, the 7th chapter, the 9th and the 10th verse. Read it. Now, if Daniel's prophecy is true, that when Christ left the earth, he had woolly hair. Wouldn't he come back and return with woolly hair, y'all? Yes or no? That's why, yep, he got a perm. That's what my mom said. And the pictures of him today are erroneous conception of him by the artists. What are they posting? That's Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia. Italian. Y'all better write who the Caesar Borgia family was. And in the Greek perspective, Alexander the Greek, that's Serapis Christos. That's Serapis Christos. Caesar Borgia in an Italian perspective, and then in the Greek perspective, Serapis Christos. Alexander the Greek. But you're going to let somebody tell you these scriptures about somebody else because they just telling you hogwash. Man, gone. The grand old Bible does not show that God ever turned a black man, turned a man black to disgrace him for his sins or anything else. But the same Bible does show that God's power did turn a man white to disgrace him because of his sins and said that his seed would be likewise forever. So you don't got to believe me. Facts are stubborn sometimes. And sometimes they're disagreeable. Sometimes even sickening. And by reading carefully Moors, the 5th chapter of the 2nd Kings, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th verse, many of our highly civilized brethren, whose ancient scholars or ancient teachers disgrace them. They suffer from alarming nausea. Think about this, man. We're clearing up these teachings. I told y'all, they connotate us. I've been in the universities. I talk just like this in the university. When I was getting my degree from Grand Canyon University, my master's in 1st century religion and history, I asked my mother them how I was talking to them. I was correcting the teachers. They was like, who do you study with? What ancient teachers? Come on, man. But the fact remains, y'all. The fact remains. Regardless of what has been said and done against the Moors or the Negro, and whatever might be said or done against him in the future, he is the only man who can trace himself back through the ages of his origin and find monumental evidence of his unequal greatness, his powers, his prowess, the laurels and the great honors that we won, the things that we created and perfected, which have a direct influence on the civilization today. The Asiatic man, I boldly assert, was the father of civilization, born in the land of Egypt, and the different branches of science and art were simply transmitted to other races or whitewashed, which as the ages have rolled and enlarged to some extent, they just tried to improve on the science. And even the modern so-called American Negro has proven that he is original Moors. For instance, as an artist, we don't have no superiors, and no Negro was ever known to enter a barber college per se. When you look at the ancient pictures and when you see us cutting hair, wasn't no barber colleges back then to learn no trade. How did we have those inapt skills to come out the womb cutting our own people hair? Moors, Negroes, whatever you want to connotate them. inherited the sweetest, most musical voices. And if you ever heard a more quartet or the choir, then you understand what I'm talking about. You know? You remember, you ever heard of Blind Tom and Blind Bone? The fame of these two men. I can write all about them. And I only displayed that talent handed down to them through centuries by their Asiatic ancestors. And as for the Negro being original, why the Negro has given great America the only claim she ever did or ever will have to a national music. God honored the Asiatic man and allowed some of his Ethiopian blood to flow in the veins of his son, what people like to say, these religious people, Jesus Christ. And I only assert that Jesus, which is Yahshua, because it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect, he would in America today be classified as a Negro or more. And I make this claim only on the authority of the Bible, according to which Jesus, which is Yahshua, was born out of the tribe of Judah. What do our paperwork say? If you ain't rocking with what I'm saying, if you are more, our paperwork say we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. Judah had only 5 children, and they were males. 1 Chronicles, 2nd chapter, and the 4th verse. 3 by his first wife, and 2 by his second wife. 1 Chronicles, 2nd and 3rd and 4th verse. And both of his wives were descendants of Canaan, a black man who was the son of Ham. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. See? You see that? But you're going to let somebody play with you. So what they teaching? Tamar, Judah's second wife. This is why they don't want to talk about the genealogy. But Tamar, Judah's second wife, bore him 2 of these sons, whose name were Phares and Zara. Phares and Zara. I said 2 sons. Zara ain't no woman. So when y'all getting that twisted, talk about Zara though, in this context, I just told you 2 sons. You see how we get everything misquoted? 1 Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, and the 4th verse. These 2 names appear in the genealogy of Yahshua or Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew. 1st chapter, the 3rd verse. So it is no trouble to see that Judah, of whom Christ was to come, started out by presenting the world children of Canaanite women who were Hamite descendants. And so now let's tell a story. If we're going to tell a story, the so-called Virgin Mary, of whom the Christ was to come, was beyond a doubt a woman out of the tribe of Judah. If we're going to tell a story, why? Because every Bible reference proclaims that Jesus, which was Yahshua, was to spring from the tribe of what, y'all? Yeah. Where's that at? Don't y'all know that's in the Bible? That's in Genesis 49 and 10. Hebrews 7 and 14. Revelations, the 5, Revelation chapter 5 and the 5th verse. Even the St. Paul tells us in Romans 1 and 3 that Yahshua was the seed of David according to the flesh. According to the flesh. According to the flesh. According to the flesh. What our paperwork just say? We're from a tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. What did I just say? David is the 10th man named from Judah in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. See, this is why a lot of Negroes confused. You're not connecting yourself to the father of civilization. You connecting yourself to a mortal man. Talking about, I pray to my ancestors. Fool, I'm telling you who your ancestor is. Your ancestors who people wrote about. And you dissing the biblical scriptures? That's the problem with us. Oh, so what you connecting yourself and you keep saying you the father of civilization. When the father of civilization, they wrote about you. You dissing yourself. Matthew, the 1st chapter, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 6th verse. Added to this, David's great-great-grandfather, Booz, was born of the woman Rahab, who was a direct descendant of who? Ham. That's in Matthew, the 1st chapter, the 5th verse. This is too simple. This too simple. This elementary science, this more science. That's why I tell y'all all should be students so we can come up together and synchronize. You got these people telling y'all this just because it's your mother or your father and we can't sit down and correct these teachings. A Messiah come in the voice of the people. But we think somebody that don't look like us, like something to come out the sky and God works through man. Mm-hmm. And you say you believe in God, you never seen him. You want some God to come save you, and God works through man. It also shows that David, one of the greatest soldiers, was one who was most successful, led his people, and who had Negro blood in his veins. This according to the scriptures. The Bible is full of honors for the black man or the Asiatic man. The black man, Jethro, the Ethiopian or Negro father-in-law of Moses, who was the author, who first employed that which is today our judicial system. But we know where that comes from. That's Mayat. But look where, when I say it's the science, when I told you it was 16 crucified saviors before some Yahshua or before some Jesus. So I'm a teacher, man. So don't get it twisted, but considerably twisted and revised to meet the changing conditions of civilization. That's in Exodus, the 18th chapter. This chapter tells of Jethro's visit to Moses and how he gave Moses the foundation of what is today graded courts of pronouncing judgments. Moses, the Hebrew emancipator, was named by who? An Asiatic woman, a so-called black woman. Who? Pharaoh's daughter. She said she called him Moses because she drew him out of the water. Exodus 2 and 10. And besides, black men educated Moses. He received what education did he have in the schools of so-called black people? Where? In Egypt. Acts in the 7th chapter, the 22nd verse. It's nothing remarkable that Booker T. Washington, and even though, W.E.B. Du Bois went against Marcus Garvey, I teach all about that, but they had these gifts from the father of civilization. We have this in us. We are descendants from fathers who ruled Egypt centuries ago. With the great wisdom laid the foundations of learning. I mean, it's so much, man. When I talk about Memphis, when I tell y'all Egypt is Memphis, when I show you things, Memphis and Babylon, remember when I'm going to teach students the esoteric and the exoteric, and a lot of people be confused in the teachings because you don't know the difference from the esoteric and the exoteric. A lot of us don't know the difference from analogy, parable, and symbology, and connotation and denotation, and arbitrary explanation of religious B to the S. I almost cursed, but I'm not.
That money in there.
But we got to talk about old science, man. Nothing is new. And I'll leave you with this part because we getting ready to get into part 2 of our teachings. But the truth is that the term Caucasian has little or no meaning as it is now used, Moors. The word itself is a conventional term given at first by Bloomback, to designate what he considered the highest type of human family shown by a skull from Mount Caucasus. So when we attempt to trace those who would claim the name as an expression of their superiority, we find that the type has disappeared, Moors, and there is no pure specimen now in existence. And if we ask what is white, Moors, we can only say that it is a term used to designate the absence of color. That is all, and no sign whatever of race integrity, Moors. And we have already indicated that science and investigation points to the fact that primitive man was not white. No disrespect. It is no new theory. And see, I speak on scholarship. Only a religious, scary Negro will get afraid when I talk like this. But nobody from a scholarship with an education, and I ain't say trained with an education, because this is what's talked about behind closed doors. Every European Mason, they know who you are. It seemed convenient for the Saxon to let it rest as much as possible and let it just die away. So those are things we must know, man. When I talk about Ham, the father of the black man located in Africa, Africa was his homestead to speak. David, the psalmist, created Ham with this territory in the 105th Psalms, the 23rd and the 27th verse, and also 106 Psalms, the 22nd verse. Now, if it is not true, and we reject it on the ground of not being sufficient proof that the black man's first and original home, we can on quite as good ground reject any and every other part of the scripture. For what I here state is no wild imagination, Moors, but facts taken from the Bible. Cush, Mizraim, Hut, and Canaan were the first sons of Ham. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. And these 4 sons, including Nimrod, the grandson of Ham, were the first to start the work of the problem of civilization. In a word, they were the pioneers and very pillars of civilized governments. Cush, located in South Egypt on the river Nile. He became the father of the Ethiopians and well as the father of the Cushites through Nimrod, who located on the southern part of the Euphrates River. It is also to be remembered that Nimrod is the founder of the Babylonian kingdom. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 10th verse. Mizraim, located on the upper part of the river Nile. And he became the father of the Egyptians. Hut, located in the northern part of Africa. Canaan, located in the land known as the Old Palestine country, which is modern Turkey. Canaan became the father of the Canaanites. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 19th verse. Man, this is too simple. According to the Bible, the above in the exact location of the first sons of Ham. And the question which naturally flows is, was civilization born in their land and given birth by Ham's first offspring? Huh? So that's what we got. That's what I want y'all to know. So I'm about to take a break. I'm about to give me some libations. And then I'm going to connect God and one through my text, my metaphysics. And then I'm going to connect the Bible and the Quran. And that's it. So log back on. Peace. Say what?